What's up guys? Today I'm checking out the new UGOOS X4Q Extra. So this is a new powerful 4K Android streaming box, and this one actually supports Dolby Vision. So decent specifications, lots of features to talk about, but first of all, let's see what you get inside the box. So we have a user manual, an HDMI cable, a USB-C power, and I'll give you a close-up of the voltage information. You're also getting a Bluetooth voice remote. So this remote has a built-in microphone, and there is a microphone button right there, so you'll be able to do voice searches. And the remote is powered by two AAA batteries, which are not included in the box. And last but certainly not least, the TV box itself. So as you can see, the box is very compact in size. You've got a nice chrome trim going around the edges, X4Q Extra logo on top. And on the front, you've got your infrared for the remote control. So this is a 2-in-1 infrared and Bluetooth remote. Okay, so you've got your IR at the front. On the side, you've just got ventilation. On the back, we've got Type-C charging, HDMI 2.0, we've got a USB 2 port, a gigabit LAN. If we keep going, you've got SPDIF, one USB 3 port, and a microSD card slot. And that will bring you back to the front of the box. And here is a quick look at the bottom. You can see there is also a reset hole at the bottom of the box. Now quickly run through the specs. So this box is powered by the S905X4 Quad-core with the integrated Mali G31 graphics. We've got 4 gigs of LPDDR4 RAM and 128 gigs of eMMC storage. We do have MicroSD Expansion, and it supports up to 32 gigs max. So this box has 5 GHz Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 5.1. It's running full Android version 11. Supports up to 4K 60 and also supports AV1 codec, HDR and Dolby Vision. So without any further ado, I'm going to get this hooked up to my TV and capture card, and we're going to find out exactly how good this box really is. I'll be right back. So first of all, I ran a boot up speed test, and you can see on screen exactly how long it took to boot up from a cold start. Now if we head over to the main system settings, go to device preferences and check out the system storage info, you will see that this box has 128 gigs of internal storage, from which we have 117 gigs free to use. And if we have a quick look in about, you will see that this box is running full Android version 11, and you can see all the information there for the firmware, kernel and build. Now this is a UGOOS streaming box, so expect to have a lot of tweaks and features you can play with. I'm going to go over some of the important ones that I find useful. So under inputs and devices, if we have a look at HDMI settings, you can see you've got lots of options there to play with. If we go back, we have keyboard and autofill, button manager, but more importantly, you've got a menu button customizer. I've never seen this done in any TV box before. You can customize the menu button to do 4 different actions: single press, double press, triple press and long press. So you can tap and you can select any of these options for each scenario. If we go back under mouse options, you can do things like change the mouse pointer size, speed up the mouse cursor and more. Now under USB settings, we have the ability to change the USB 3 port speed, and you can see the default is set to super speed. It says when connecting to a 2 GHz Wi-Fi, the super speed option can cause interference, so you can drop the USB speed down in those scenarios. And select display and sound, and I do want to show you the resolution first of all, so you can see 4K 60 is selected by default. If we go into color, you can see the default option selected is 10-bit color, and we've got adaptive HDR selected by default, but you've got other options there, including always Dolby Vision. Automatic frame rate options are there. It's off by default, but you can see there's a lot you can do in here as well. Now under panels and interface, we have something useful called hardware monitor, and it's off by default, but if you switch it on, it will give you an overlay in the left corner, and that will show you some different metrics for the system in case you are system monitoring, and you can switch stuff on and off as required. Under power options, you've got again lots of tweaks to play with, from customizing the power indicator, and you can see there a lot of different scenarios that you can play with. And from here you can also activate your screensaver. You've got power key and timer definitions and lots more. Another classic feature from UGOOS, you've got super user. So basically that means you can decide whether you wish to root the box or not. By default it's not rooted, but you can flick that switch when you're ready. So as expected from a UGOOS TV box, Lots of options, features and tweaks to play around with. Now let's have a look at the complete system apps. So here are all the apps available on this box as standard. I've not installed anything yet, and you can see you've got plenty of apps to get you started, including AirScreen, Movie Player. You've got like 2 file managers. You've got Miracast as well, but more importantly, you have the Google Play Store. And if I open it up, I just want to show you, this is the full version of the Play Store, so you can download all your favorite games and apps. So the default apps don't include many popular apps like Netflix, YouTube, Disney. All of those apps are not included by default, and I was able to download YouTube, Netflix and Amazon Prime Video directly from the Play Store, but unfortunately Disney Plus was not available. Now the first thing I want to test is Miracast, which is screen mirroring for Android phones. And I did test this with my S23 Ultra, and it did take a while to connect, for some reason a lot longer than usual. But when it did connect, you can see it's working absolutely fine with very minimal lag. Now this box also comes pre-installed with AirScreen, which is screen mirroring for iOS devices. And I did test this out with my iPhone 14 Pro, and as you guys can see, it was very quick and easy to connect, and it works absolutely fine with minimal lag. So it looks like this box supports screen mirroring for both Android and iOS devices right out of the box. Okay, so now we're going to play some 4K video samples from a USB drive, and I'm going to be doing this with the included Movie Player app, and I've got my flash drive plugged into the USB 3 port of this TV box. So let's begin with the usual high bitrate jellyfish demo. The first clip is 160 megabits per second, which you can see is playing very smooth with no issues. Next up, I tested the 180 megabit per second file, and that sample also playing great. Now the real test, 400 megabit per second high bitrate jellyfish demo, and you can see it's actually doing a pretty good job. So thereafter I tested some 4K 60 samples with various HDR formats, and they all played back beautifully. To see what happens, I also tested out an AV1 sample, and you can see it's playing back fine. So that was 4K videos from a USB drive. Now let's move on to the 4K YouTube test, and you can see YouTube is supported at 4K 60 with HDR.
But they're not popular. Editors, they want a black book.
They have a black book. I'm black, and it's my book.
This isn't your typical home flipping show. My homes are reflecting the local communities.
Come on.
And we're husband and wife.
I'm so nervous, I think I'm going to explode.
My best friend, the king's apprentice.
My mouth drooping.
No DNA on record, no prints. No bullet casings were discovered on the scene, and no exit wound either.
Okay, so next up we are testing the official Netflix app, which we downloaded from the Play Store, and as you guys can see, maximum resolution supported is 540p. So unfortunately this TV box is not licensed for HD or 4K Netflix. But to my surprise, Amazon Prime Video actually supported full HD streaming with HDR, which is great. Now for you advanced users, DRM info actually shows Google Wi-Fi level 1. And here is CPU-Z, where you can check out the clock speeds, and you can see that we are running the Mali G31, and this box is running Android 11, and you've actually got a root switch in settings, so you can decide whether your box is rooted or not. And here are the results for the internal disk speeds. We achieved read speeds of 189 and write speeds of 138 megabytes per second. And in the Wi-Fi speed test, we achieved download speeds of 424 and upload speeds of 59 megabits per second. Now in this office, we usually get around 500 download and 60 upload, so very close to my top speeds. So this box got a pretty decent Wi-Fi. So that brings us to our benchmarks, beginning with Geekbench single core score of 156 and multi-core score of 525. And in the Antutu benchmark test, we achieved 112K. So let's see how that compares with the others. So here is my top Android TV box performance chart for 2023, showing you the latest TV boxes and seeing how they compare with each other, and the ranking is based on Antutu benchmark scores. And based on that, you can see the UGOOS takes position 10 on this chart with a benchmark score of 112K. Now I've also given this box an overall rating of 4.5 out of 5. So from this chart you can see the performance scores and my overall rating, all color coded for your convenience. Now you can view the full versions of all my charts online and free of charge at chigztech.com and read them at your leisure. So there you have it guys, that was the new UGOOS X4Q Extra. And that is exactly what you can expect from this box. It's basically the UGOOS X4Q Pro with a few extras on top for a little more money. So larger 128GB storage compared to 32 gigs. The storage is also much faster in read and write speeds, and the Bluetooth has been upgraded to 5.1. This box now also supports Dolby Vision. So those were the extras you're getting from this new version. Other than that, you're getting exactly the same connectivity, same ports, same design, and the same size. Other than the word extra instead of pro and the yellow branding instead of green. If you already have the UGOOS X4Q, I would not upgrade. It's more or less the same experience. But if you don't have either, then yes, this is a great Android streaming box to get your hands on. Also love the extensive features and tweaks that you can play with, and a very nice responsive Bluetooth remote control included as standard. So bottom line, a pretty advanced box, but you do need to consider the caveats that I mentioned. That's all for this video. Don't forget to like and sub. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.